Hello everyone. Welcome back again to the African Tech Gurus. This is your channel where learning is by doing. This is another new day where I've come up with another new video. I believe you have tried out something here and there, and here I am coming with a solution to help you, but not only to give you an answer, but to help you understand each and every concept that you are coming through. So now let's see what you're supposed to cover this day. And okay, first of all, let me just give you an overview that this particular task has what we call the mandatory task that is 100%, and it also has the optional task that is 100%, totaling up to 200% maximum. So the maximum you can get out of this particular task is 200%, which I believe that in as much as you score that 200% and get to understand each and every concept. Now let's go down here and we see resources, which I believe you have tried to go through each and every resource provided here. And if not, I will advise you to still go through the same resources. And also remember, we posted a video that talk about the content review, where we try to explain each and every concept that has been provided in these resources given to you. So today we are going to learn about this more function and more nested loops. Remember, we say what we learned the previous day, which is what will build what we are to learn today. So remember one thing, don't forget, in as much as you learn today, ensure that you understand today's concept that will build on what you learn in the following day. Now, guys, let's go and see some of the few questions or the quiz that we are supposed to cover in this particular topic. If you're not yet done with the quiz, allow me to take you through in the shortest time possible. What is the return value of the following function? That is question 0. What is the return value? So we have int sum function. Remember that you said that the function has to have the return type, it has the function name, and it has the parameters. So the syntax for having a function is that the return type, the function name, and the parameters, and also the body of that particular function. So what we have, int sum function, int is the return value, sum function is the function name, void is the parameter. Now the function of the body of the function is int I for, and all this in between this curly bracket. So now we have been asked int I for I is equal to 0 and I is less than 10, I increment, and then print %d I. D %d means a specifier for an integer. So you have been told that print I. So first of all, what will be printed? 0. And then it will check, is 0 less than 10? Yes. Increment it. So it will print 0 and increment it to 1. It come back again. It check, is 1 less than 10? Yes. Print that line, return that I, that is 1, and then increment again. So at the end of the day, we will have how many? We will have 10 of them. We'll have 10 of them because it prints from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. So it will return 10. So what is the output of the following piece of code? Int I is equals to 9. While increment, this one, print %d I. So what you can notice is that this one, you have not been given any increment option. What it means is that within this particular while, there is all, it has all, what I can say that it all whatever writes that it does within this particular while. So we have not been given any other additional something that can guide us. So what all while I increment, so you are just incrementing, and this is post decrement. So what happens is that you decrement first, that is it will begin with 8. So you decrement first before you print it. So 9 minus 1 is 8, then 8, 7 up to 0. Then we come to this one, the return value of the following function. In some function is the then %d and then 12. Then return 98. What will return? It will return what? 98. There is nowhere we have said that it has to return the other. This is the return and this is what you printed. What you printed is 12, but the return is 98. What is the output of the following piece of code? Int I is equal to 0, while I is less than 10, increment, and then is post increment, then %d I modulus 2. So it will say I is less than, I is 0, yes. Is it less than 10? Yes. Increment it. So 1. So 1 divided by 2, what will I have? It is 0. 1 divided by 2 is half, and we cannot print half, so you have 0. So it will print 0, and then it go back and increment. Now increment to 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then we have also, we come to 3. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, which is will still remain with 1. So we say 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, and also up to 5. So that is the answer. Then question, what's the output of the following piece of code? This one, int I, for int is equal to 0, I is less than 10, I increment, and all this. You print the whatever you get as I multiplied by 2. So 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. Then you increment to get 1. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. So you get 2. So 2, and then to get to 3. 3 is less than 10. Yes, increment to 3, and then multiply 3 by 2 is 6. So you go back, increment, and then you do it. So that is another one. So what's the output of the following piece of code? Int I, and then I is negative 9. So while I is less than 0, print percentage D negative I. So we have negative 9, and then we say negative 9. So we just say negative into bracket negative 9. A negative and a negative come up with a positive. So we will not begin from negative 9 downwards, but we'll begin from positive 9. That's 9, 8, 7, 5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll just, whatever it's supposed to be, negative 9, negative 8, negative 7, but it will be a negative into a negative that number. Then we'll print out a positive number. So that is the answer. Then what's the value of the piece of code? This one, int I is 48, and this is less than 58, int plus plus. And then you have been told percentage C. It is not percentage D. So percentage C means that it prints a character and not an integer. So it will print what? 0 up to, it will print 0 up to 9. What does it mean? It is 0 up to 9 in the ASCII table. In the ASCII table, 0 up to 9 in the ASCII table is represented by 48 to 58. So what's the output of the following piece of code? Int I is equal to 0, while I is less than 10, print percentage D, I modulus 2. So first of all, 0 modulus 2. 0 modulus 2, we get what? 0 modulus 2, you get 0. And then you get to 1. 1 modulus 2 is still 1, that will remain. Then 3 modulus 2 is still 0. 2. 2 modulus 2 is 0. Then 3 modulus 2 is 1. So it will be 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and ending like that. So what is the output of the following piece of code? Int I, then I is equals to 9. While I, this is what we call the pre-decrement. It will decrement. It is called a pre-decrement. So this one, it pre-decrement, and it is between. Okay, there's a difference between the other one and this one. Why? Because while and then decrement. Nothing else we have been given to determine how we'll able to run our code, and that is why all the conditions are inside the while this condition, and that is why the answer will be 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Task. Now let's get into the task, guys. Let's get into the task and do the task. So allow me to open my Vagrant this way. Okay, today I will be using Vagrant. I will not be using the web terminal, but all in all, they are all the same. What I've just do is that I'm using Vagrant. I'm not using web terminal for some of the security reasons, and that is why today you will not. I say that you notice there is something that I will do unusual, but all in all, until we get the right thing. Remember, one thing the checker always check is for, they always check for 1, the documentation, that is the Betty styling, and 2, the output of your code. If your output of your code is correct, then you are marked. If also the documentation is correct, then you are given marks. And that is what checker normally do. And so today guys, I will try to do this. Okay, let me just do this to that side, and then I have this one. So guys, first of all, I have given some few steps that I will go through. What are some of the steps that I will do? Here are some of the steps that I will use in this particular task. Number one task is so I say that these are the the step that I will use while doing this particular task. First of all, clone the repository ALX law programming, because that is what we'll be using. Guys, let me take you first of all to the requirements that you need, so that it will not be I'm just doing my own things without you understanding what are requirements. Okay, allowed editors is Vim or Emacs. Okay, for me, I'm using VI, that is in the background. And then you will be compiled using this one, and then the GCC, that is the GCC. And then all your files should end with a new line. Remember, /n, that all your file will end with a new line. Then number 3 is that, okay, also readme file, have a root of your folder. You need to have a readme file. Any directory that you create while doing some coding here in LX, ensure that every of your directory has a readme file. Then your code should be in Betty style. That is the thing I told you, that must have a readme file. You need to have a Betty styling that is in a well manner, and then another thing is that the correct output. Then you are not allowed to use global variables, and then not more than 5 functions per file. I'm sorry. You are not allowed to use standard library. Any of the function, I think like print and whatever, is forbidden. You're only allowed to use putchar. Use putchar, and that is why you will find me creating a file called putchar. Where will I get putchar? In your requirement, you will see you are allowed to use putchar. Click on that putchar, it will direct you to another repository which has some code. You copy that code and then you use to create a putchar. I will show you how to go about it. And then you don't have to push your putchar.c. You don't have to push, not necessarily, but you can push, but has nothing to do with the output of your code. And then you need also to have main.c header file, and then don't forget to push that particular main.h header file. So guys, now that I have taken you through the requirements, allow me to take you also through my steps that I have come up with to ensure that we achieve the desired output. So these are my steps. Clone the repository ALX. Then the question is, have I cloned? Let me list file. I don't have. Okay, let me just cd into ALX, change directory into ALX directory, and then I list file. Yes, I have that directory called ALX law programming. So what next? Let me cd into that particular ALX, like that, law programming, like that. And then I list file. What file do I have? I have all these kind of files here, so I don't have the directory. So that was step number 1, was to clone, and then that is done. Step number 2, have this particular, remember that your code should be inside a folder called directory called 0x04 more function and nested loops. So we have to create this particular directory. So let me come here and then I click on copy. Let me copy them, then I create. So let's come and say mkdir to create directory, and then what's the directory name is what I paste here, and then I click enter. So you notice that, guys, you will notice that I will have also now another directory called 0x04 more function nested loops. So what next? I have to change into that directory, that is cd into that directory, for me to now begin doing some coding. So cd, that is changing in the directory like that, and then I click enter. So from there now I am able to see I don't have anything in it. So what next? Next step I have to do is create a readme file. So create a readme file. So how will I create a readme file? I'll come here and say vi readme.md, like that, and I click enter like that, and then I click I to go into its insert mode. Then what will be my readme file? So I'll just write like this, guys. Okay, #3 #mortar. This means you will try to read what's called the markdown language. Markdown language is the language that is used to create the readme file. So 3 # in this case means that it's a level 3 heading in HTML. When we talk about HTML, is that it is a level 3 heading of HTML. It's equal to that. So 3 #. Then I say I say more functions and more nested loops. Allow me to write like that. So that's my text. Remember that your readme should not be empty. Then I escape like this, guys. I come here and then I list file. I notice that I have now a readme file. That step is now done. Let's see next thing. Create a main.h file. What did we say about main.h file, guys? We say that main.h file is a header file that will be used as a file for this particular assignment that will contain our prototypes. And when we talk about prototypes, is that it's kind of it's a prototype is like a function that tells us what is the return value of a function, what is the parameter of a function, what is the name of that particular function. So at this step now, we want to create a main.h file. So if you don't understand what main.h file, allow me to direct you that you go back to our previous video on content review where I explain what is main.h file. So now, without much, let me go and create a file that's called main.h, vi main.h. Then enter like that, and I click I to go to insert mode. So I'm now in the insert mode. How will I create main.h? Guys, I will not take mine to create. I will just use what I've created here. This is the main. So this is the syntax. Let me begin by here. Copy this one, then I explain to you the other. Let me just copy the syntax, paste here, and then I come here. I check this one, copy, and then let me paste it here. Let me have it like that. So now this is my syntax for creating main.h file. Then what do we have to include in this main.h file? What do we have to include? In our main.h file, we will include these things, guys. You will see here it say prototype int is upper. Prototype int is upper, and then into a bracket that is int c, means that the return type is int, and then is upper is the name of the function. Int is the data type that it will be for that particular parameter, and then parameter name, variable name. Okay, now guys, let's now see how I'm able to write. I will explain to you. First of all, you need to have this one called putchar. That is always the first one. Let me now copy, and then I paste it here like that. And then the second one, where the second one comes in, it comes on task 0 is upper. You copy this one, prototype int is upper. You copy this one, and then you paste there. So let me show you. I copy something like this guys here, and it is the same as what is in task 1, task 0. Then I paste like that. Then all the way, you have to scroll all the way in each and every task 1. You will use int is digit int c. So let me use int is digit int c like this. Copy this here, and I paste it here. So I will continue like that, guys, to the end of this particular task, or the prototype for this particular task. But without that, allow me not to go all this way, not to copy all this, but I will just go directly and copy what I've created so that it will be easy and will go fast. So allow me to go to this particular. I say that I will copy this one, so allow me to come here and copy all this up to this end, and then I copy like this, and I come here, guys, here, and I paste it like that. So at that point, we are done with main.h file. So it contains all the prototypes for this particular task. Then I list file now. I have readme main.h. Let's come to the third one. Let's see the next step we are supposed to cover. The next step is create a putchar file. Create a putchar file. Where do we create a putchar file? Guys, I ask you that in the requirement, you will see that you are allowed to use putchar. This one. You will click on this one. It will direct you to where we will get a code for putchar. But for my case, I've already copied that one. This is not my code, guys. It is what I copied from where it is say that you are supposed to do it. They will allow to use it. This is the code I copied. because you are allowed to copy that one. So now let me just create a file called putchar. Let me just come here and I copy the content of that particular file, copy, and then I come here, then I say vi underscore putchar putchar.c. That is the file you will be using to run your GCC, and then enter. And then I click I to go to insert mode. Then I'll say paste my code. I paste my code like that, and then I escape like this. Then I go that way. So at this point, you see that I am now having three files: putchar, main.h, and readme.md. So what next, guys? The next thing that I have to do is to create the main files. Main.c files is this one. Let me just show you what do I mean when I say main.c files. You see this one? It says 0 main.c. You will have 1 main.c and all those. So I'll have to create all of them. How do I create? So let me create them. So I'll say I'll not use vi in this case because I just want to create them and have them. So I will use torch like that and copy the file's name, which has 0 main.c, 1 main.c, 3 main.c, 4 main.c, 5 main.c, 6 main, up to all the way up to 1 main.c. I copy the file's name like that, and then I come here and then I paste them like that, and then I click enter. It will create all the files, and then I say list files. So you notice that I have now 0 main.c up to all the way to 101 main.c. What are these? It is this one, guys, which we have here, 0 main.c, and then I will have the content. 1 main.c, where is it? 1 main.c, then I have the content. Then 2 main.c, all the way like that. Instead of copying one by one, I just decided and then I create in the notepad and then I paste all of them. So I have created that one. That is another step. Let's come to another step now. Come to main 0 main.c, the first one, and then I copy this one. This particular text I have here is this particular code here. You see task 0? Task 0, you will have 0 main.c. It will include main, that's what I have. Include stdio, that's what I have. All this code is what I have here, and then card C is what I have here. So this one I cannot copy because this one is PDF. I will not copy, but I want to copy what I already created here. So it is not something that I'm using that is different. It is the same thing. So let me copy the content here. Copy this one up to this end. Copy like this, and then I come here. Then I say vi. I say vi 0-main.c like that, enter, and then I click I, and then I paste the code like that, escape. Let me do that, and then I come to vi 1-main.c. that is the second one. 1-main.c is for the tasks 1, this one. So I'm copying code like this, include main and all this for this one. So what has the code? The code for main.c, it is the same as this one. So I'll just copy this one, copy here, and then I paste. Sorry for that. Yes, I have it. Then escape. I escape like that. So I have created for 0 main.c, 1 main.c. What is the next one? The next one is 2 main.c. 2 main.c. So I say let me clear first of all, clear. So I say vi 2-main.c. And then what's the content of vi 2-main.c? This is the content. I'll copy here. It's the same as what you have on your end. I'll say copy. Then I'll come here. Where is it? Here. And then I paste it like that. Then I escape again. Like that. Then I'm done with that. Let me go to vi 3-main.c. Where is that? 3-main.c is for task 3. Here, 3-main.c, and this is the code here. This is the code that you have to have it. Remember, what's the function of main.c file, guys? It contains the main function. It contains the main function. Remember, you need the main function and you want the function that you are creating to run your code. So the main.c file will contain the main functions. So now enter like that. Then I click I to go to insert mode, and then I will copy my 3 main.c file here like this, and then I click on copy, and then I paste like that. Then I go to vi4-main.c. Then let me show you for main. Where is it? It is here, for main.c. So and then I click on enter, then I click on I, that is to insert mode, and then this is the code I'm supposed to copy here. And then let me copy from my end because I already created a notepad. I climb here, I click on copy, paste. Yes, let me go to the next step. Next step is create vi5-main.c. Enter. Then where is that? 5 main.c is include all this void, more numbers, return 0. So let me copy that one. Okay, guys, you're not don't worry why I'm copying. Okay, you are allowed to copy this. You are allowed to copy this. Let me repeat, you are allowed to copy this. I escape like that. So next is vi main.c. vi5, it's now 6. We are now going to 6. So where is 6? It is 6-main.c. And then insert I. Then what's the code? You are supposed to print line 0, 2, 10, -4. So let me copy what I have. It is the same. Come here, I copy this way. Sorry. I come here, I copy this way. Click on copy. Come here, I paste. Then I do like this. Then I come to 7, guys. It is vi7-main.c. like that. You click on I to go into insert mode. Then I copy in diagonal 0, 2, 10, and 4. So where is mine? I have it here. I click on copy. Then I have it paste here. Then I do this way. Then what next? vi now 8. I think it's 8. Next is 8. Yes, 8-main.c. Then enter. Then insert as I to insert mode. Then you copy print square 2, 10, 0. Where is that code? I have that code here. Up to here. Copy. Here like that. Then vi now you don't have 9. I think we don't have 9. Let me check. We don't have 9. Yeah, we don't have main file for main.c for 9. So we jump to 10. So we vi 10-main.c. After this, guys, we'll go now to our files and create one by one. Here, then let me copy this for 10. This is the main file for 10. Copy, have it here, paste, and then I do this way. And then I'll come to, now I've created for 10, I'll come to 11. 11 doesn't have again. Let's go to 12. The 12 is 101. So vi main, it is vi 101-main.c. Then I click on enter like that, and then I click insert like that, guys. Then I copy the code, say print 98, 4, 2, 10, 24, and all those. Let me copy that one. I'll copy like this, and then I copy, I'm sorry, after I've copied it like this, copy, and then I come here and I click on paste. So after that, guys, we are done with all main.c. What is the next step? Now when we list all our files, we have it there. It means that they are not now empty. They have something in it. Next thing is create the task files. The task file. What are the task file in this case? Now let's go back now to our task 1. Let's now begin to write our code. That is the code to solve what we have been asked to do. Number one is that you have been told write a function that check for uppercase characters. Guys, you have to check whether that given character or whatever that you give as a parameter, is it a uppercase letter or a lowercase. So it will say return 1 if the character is uppercase and return 0 if the letter or the character is not an uppercase. So we will expect something like this, guys. We'll expect something like A is 1, A is 0. So if it is capital A, it will return 1. If it is small letter a, it will return 0. What does it mean? It means that we'll have to write a function that will receive an input or a parameter, and that parameter is received from the main function. So it will receive A in the first place, and that A, it will have to tell us whether it is upper or lower. So now let's see it. Let's do it. Let's come here. Let's create a file called 0isupper.c. 0isupper.c is the file name, as you can see here. File 0isupper.c. So vi, and then we have 0isupper like that, .c, enter. Then I click I to go to insert mode. Now we are now writing code. How can that be? Let me copy this code and I explain to you as usual for the purpose of time. I will explain to you. Don't worry. I will have to explain each and every part of the code as much as I can. So first of all, guys, you will see include main.h file. What does include main.h file means? It is including the content, the prototype. The prototype itself is in another file called main.c file. Where is that main.c file? It is the file that we created earlier before. Remember in the around that step there, I say that we create main.c. And what does main.c contain? It contains all the prototype for this particular task that we are supposed to cover today. And then we have here, guys, here we have the comments. The comments, I've had people are complaining that there is always this one underscore. They say that there is not a description for the return value. That is the problem. When this one does not match, write this one to match with this one, and then you give a space here, and then you give a space there. Yes, you give a space here, and then you give a space there, and then you describe what does that particular function does. Check for lowercase or uppercase character. So, and then you have C. Tell Betty what C is it. What C is it? Betty will complain if she does not understand what C is. So C is character to be checked, Betty. Then return. It will return A, 1 for uppercase character and 0 for anything less. So tell Betty that what this particular function will do, it will return for me 1 if it's an uppercase letter and 0 if it's for anything else. If it's lowercase, it will return 0. So guys, I'm explaining how this particular comments works for this particular task 0 alone. So I will not be explaining about the comments in the next task, but I'll just be explaining about the code itself. So now let's come to this particular. Now we have the function that is int is upper, int, and then C. Is upper is the function name. Int is the return type. Int C is the parameter that we passed. And then we have now, after we have passed the parameter, it will check whether it is uppercase or lowercase. Now guys, this is where now you need the knowledge of ASCII table. We say that ASCII table from 65 up to 90 are uppercase characters. From 97 up to 122, it is lowercase characters. That's what you say, guys. So it will check is the character which, you remember why is it asking in numbers? Because you have given a parameter in integers. So it will check C is greater than 65. It will check in integers because you have passed in an integer parameter. So C is greater or equal to 65 and C is less or equal to 90. Then what you will do? You return 1. If it is something different from that, if it is 97, of which 97 is a lowercase, return 0. So we expect to see 1 when it's uppercase and 0 when it is lowercase. I believe I've explained that particular code well understood. Then we escape code like that, and then I click enter. Then from here, guys, what's the next step? The next step is for me to run Betty. I know this is where most of you are interested to see whether we'll have Betty running like this. I will have like this and click on paste. Then I click Betty. Oh, my Betty runs. My Betty never complained. She never complained this time around. She said that, oh, it's okay. There is no problem with it. I have no problem with your code. Then what next? Let's run our GCC. Our GCC is here. Let me copy here and then let me paste it here. Enter. Yes, list file. Yes, you notice that we have another file called 0 is up in green. So let's check what is inside. 0 dash is upper like that. And I click enter. You notice that it is A1 and the A for 0. So when it is uppercase 1, when it's lowercase, that one. Guys, to that point, we have understood that is how the code works. We have got the right output. We have solved Betty, and now what next is to git add, git commit. So git commit may not stress much. I have already created git commit here, so I'll just copy git commit like that. I'll come here and paste. Then I click enter. So now I've done that. What next is git push. So I push to my repository. But guys, as I say this, you notice there's something I will not do. What is this thing that I will not do? I will not run my checker. Why? I will not run my checker, guys, because of one reason. The biggest reason as to why I will run my checker is because of some security issues from the ALX, which I don't want to be suspended. Yes, so that is why I am not running checker, because checker contain my credentials. So, but at that point, I have shown you the output and I have shown you the Betty, that it is working and GCC is working and is giving us the right output and Betty is not complaining. So we are done with that particular task. Let's get into the second task. That is task 1. Let me clear my terminal, clear. So the second task, what does second task do? The second task say that write a function that check for digit 0 through 9. So prototype int is digit, int C. So it's an integer and it's C. Between 0 and through 9. So return 1 if C is a digit, otherwise 0. So what is the expected output? It will all be like this one. If it is a digit, it will return 1. If it is a letter, it will return 0. So this is our expected output, guys. These are supposed to guide you. So this is expected output 0, 1, and A is equals 0. So now what next? Let's create the file name called isDigit. So file name is called vi1 underscore isDigit. So we want to check that one .c. So that's our file name. Then I click enter. Then I click I to go to insert mode. So let me copy my code and then I explain to you. So I have it here up to this point. Then I click on copy. Then I have it here. I paste like that. So what does it mean? I will not explain main. I have explained. I will not explain this one. I have explained this for Betty. You have to tell Betty whatever you are doing, and I will always only repeat this one. isDigit. This one has to be the same as this one, and then this one, which is the parameter, is what you are passing here. Tell Betty what you are passing, and tell Betty what is the return. Yes, and then you will never have issues with Betty. So int is integer in C, and then if, remember we say that it has to be 0 to 9. So it will say in int, it will refer to ASCII. In the ASCII table, 48 up to 57 is 0 to 9. So it will check between, is C greater than 48? Yes. And is it less than 57? Yes. Then return 1. Meaning that between 0 and 57, they are all integers. Then you'll return 1. If it is above that or something different from that, you'll return 0 because it is not an integer. Remember, we are checking what are we checking? We are checking whether a character passing is an integer or a letter or let me say an alphabet. So I'm explaining that and escape now. Then from there now, let's run Betty. So I'll come here and say, Betty, check my code kindly and be good. Be good girl. Yes, Betty is a good girl. So let's run GCC. Now that Betty is a good girl, let's run our GCC copy here and I paste, enter. After that, let me come here and git add like this, paste, enter. Then git commit. I developed all these steps, guys. I never wanted to have more time here, but I just wanted to have enough time to explain my code other than writing, but they are working as you can see. And then next, now that okay, we run our GCC, okay, we never check the output. Let's list file. Then we have let's check the output of this is digit like that. Then say is like that. It's the correct output. That's what you expected. Remember, what you're supposed to do is that correct output, Betty not complaining. That is all. So let's come to the third task. That task is saying that task is asking us to do what? Write a function that multiply two integers, and then int mul. So you write a code that multiply two integers. Then we need two integers, which is a and b. So first of all, what you're supposed to do is to create the file name, that is 2-mul.c. Then enter. Like what do I say? Okay, I never say vi 2-mul.c, like that. Enter. Then I click I to go to insert mode, and then I will copy the code and I'll try to explain. So I'll come here and copy the code like this. Okay, let me like this. Where is it? Up to this point. Then copy. Then I come here, I click on paste. Then my code is, it will have this function, and then in result equals a times b. Whatever you are declaring another variable called in result, and then what does the variable in result will contain? It will contain the multiplication of a and b. And where are we going to get a and b? Is from the main function. From the main function, as you can see here, you notice that this guy is passing in 98 and 1024. So it first of all multiplied the multiplication of 98 and 1024 to give us 10352. And then the second thing is negative 402 and 4096. It will multiply that to give us negative 164, 65, 92. So that is what it does. It stores the result of multiplication of that, and then it returns the result. Then from there, now let's escape like this, and then I git, okay, not git but Betty, where are you? Betty, be a good girl. Betty, be a good girl. So copy, and then I copy Betty. Kindly Betty, be a good girl. Enter. Oh, Betty is a good girl. Let me clear my terminal. It's too much. Then I run GCC. In this case, I expect you to be good. Error. No such file or directory. Where is it? It's asking me 3 print numbers.c. Oh, I don't have that. I copied the wrong one. What have I copied? Let me check first of all. I gave the wrong name. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to run another different GCC, and it's not running this one. It is running what is having at the end is not 3 print. It is 2-mul. So let me correct that one. Let me paste again here. I will correct and have it to create for me 2-mul. And then where will I change? I will change here, guys, where it say 3 print. Let me show you. What I'm using is I have to use here. I have to remove this like this and say 2-mul.c. Yes, and then I'm using which main c? I'm using 2main.c. Then end, and then I click enter. Yes, now GCC, you are a good boy. List file. You have it now. So let's the output like this 2 dash mu like that. Enter. Then you have the answer. Yes, that's the correct output. Next is git add. Git add. Then git commit. Commit. What message am I committing with? Let me come here. I just copy this one, so that will not take much of your time. But guys, I believe you have seen sometimes even it's not always that you always get the right answer. Sometimes you get errors. So that's why I believe you notice. Okay, what is he saying? This is saying it's taking me to another where I have to do it, but I will not go that way. Hello. So I was trying this one. Okay. Vagrant had messed me a bit, but now I'm back. So I was doing commit when it messed me up. So let me enter like that, and then I git push like that. So I have pushed that one. Let me go to the next task. So our next task is on task number task 3. What does it say? Write a function that print the numbers from 0 to 9 followed by a new line. Prototype is print numbers. So you are using put char. Remember, you're using put char twice in your code. So you're using put char and you're using print. And only put char print in form of character, that's %c. So what can we do now? Let's first of all create the file name, and thus the file name is 3 print numbers. So 3 print numbers, that is the file name. It's called 3 print numbers.c. So let's come here and click on vi, and then the name of the file here, guys, is this one. Then enter. Then I click I to go to insert mode, and then from there now you are writing a function that print numbers from 0 to 9. So you are to check. You are first of all we will check between 0 to 9, and we will print in C, that is put char C. Okay, let me copy and then I explain to you. Copy, then I come here, I paste like that. So what it means is that you are creating a variable called char. Then for C, which is char, the variable C is equal to 0, and then C has to be equal or less than 9, and then you increment. But you print put char C, meaning that okay, it's still using you're printing the put char C, that is the value of that particular variable. Then you print it out in as long as it is still less than 9. Then you click on escape like that, enter. Then from here now I'm checking Betty. So Betty, be a good girl. In this case, be a good girl. So I click on paste, then I click enter. So Betty is now a good girl. So let's check GCC. What will GCC do? GCC, hope you will behave even you. Let me copy. Okay, copy it up to that far. Click on copy. Then I paste it here. Then I click enter. It say error before the numeric constant, where in 3 main.c. I've been given an error 3 main.c. So I will say vi 3 dash main.c. I'm like I've given an error to be on before the constant numeric, that is in line 1. So I click enter. So it says yes, there's something I put it wrong here. You notice this one. Let's try and remove. Click I to go insert mode, and then I go to the top here. Let me remove this one. I press it wrongly like this. Let me remove that one. I believe now my code will work. Escape now. Guys, hope you are able to see that we are getting errors. So if we get the error, try to understand where error is. Then now let's run GCC now. Now GCC works. ls. Yes, we have now 3 print numbers. So our GCC is now working. I don't have to worry. But guys, don't be worried whenever you get error. Just try to figure out where the error is. Yes, it's part of life and it is there. Of course, you get an error. So let's check what is inside this particular executive file you have created. The output is 0 up to 9. Is that true? Is what is expected of us? Yes, it is expected 0 to 9. Then what next? We git add. We git add like that. then git, let me commit the git commit. I will use what I have here, the git commit, that is this one. Copy. When you get an error, remember one thing, don't worry, just try to find the error where it is and ask from your friend. And then it says, what does it says? My error again. It says what? It says okay. I notice where the error is. I never have it, there is no git. So I come here, copy. So don't panic. When you make errors, don't panic. Yeah, git push. Don't panic. Just relax and try to find where the error is. We are done with that. Let's go to task 4. Task 4, it says that write a number that print number from 0 to 9 followed by a new line. Okay, but don't print what? 2 and 4. So we need to have somewhere if to test if it is equal to 4 and 2. Don't print that line. Proceed. So let's clear our terminal. Clear like that. Then vi, what's the name of the file? What is the name of the file? The name of the file in this case is for print most numbers. For print most numbers except only 2 and 4. I click I to go to insert mode, and then let me copy the code and I explain to you. Up to this far, guys, let me click on copy here. I come here, click on paste, and then you will notice that I have a variable, this one, and then I say for this one is equal to 0 and this one has to be equal to less or equal to 9, and then I increment. From there, if then c is equal to 2 and c is equal to 4, and there you see a negation here, a exclamation here, which means negate. In as long as c is not equal to 2 or c is equal to 4, continue printing that number. So print number 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 1. When it reaches 2, 2 is greater is equal to 2, and we don't want that one. So we skip that one. We go 3, then 4, skip 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, that is what it does. So in as long as it is not equal to 2 and 4, print all numbers except those who are equal to that one. So escape now, like that. Then what I do next, I run Betty. So Betty, we believe that you will be a good girl. We don't have time. We believe that you will be a good girl. Like this. Yes, Betty is a good girl. GCC, we believe that you will be good, even you. Kindly be good. So I come here, click on copy. I come here, I click on paste. Then I click enter. Yes, GCC is saying it's fine. So list file, we check. So what do we check? We check for print more numbers like this. That's what we want to check what is inside. This one like this, and then we paste like that. Click enter. Yes, we have the right output. Yes, we have the right output. It is true. This is what we have, except only 2 and 4. We don't have 2 and 4. So let's go next. Task number 5. Write a function that print 10 times the number from 0 to 14 followed by a new line. So prototype is that void more print more numbers. So you can only use putchar 3 times in your code, and then it prints only how many? Only print 10 times the numbers from 0 to 14. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How many times? 10 times. It will print 10 times. So let's check our code. Let's first of all create the name of the file. It's called 5 more numbers. I'm sorry. So let me come here and I copy the name of the file. Then copy. I come here and say vi. Then the name of the file like this. I click enter. Then I click I to go to insert mode. And then let me copy the code and I explain to you. Come here. Okay, I believe this is the end. Yes, this is the end. So I come here, copy, have it here, paste. So guys, you will notice that you have an integer I and j. Then for I am using integer I and j. For I, it will just to print print new lines. So you notice that I is equals to 1, I is less than or equal to 10. That is the number of times it will print numbers. It will print how many times? 10 times. So what we'll do, it will not print any output. This will just print for you new lines. So it's like asking, it's like this code is saying, print for me 10 new lines. which has nothing in it. Now the inside for loop here, this the inside code. Let's say j is equal 0, j is less or equal to 14. This is where now it will print from 0 to 14. And then in as much as it is still less than 14, it will increment. It will print 0, yes. It will print 1, yes, less than 14. 2, less than 14. 3, less than 14, until it reaches 14. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How many times now? The outside code, the outside for loop will tell us how many times should we print that. I believe you understood now. Let's escape like this, then enter, then I run Betty. Betty, be a good friend. We don't have time. Be a good friend. Copy. I come here, I paste like that, and I click enter like that. Now Betty is saying it's well and good. So I tell Betty, let me run GCC and check what GCC will give me. Enter. GCC say it's fine and okay. ls. So we want to see this one. What do we have is, are we printing 0 to 14 times? Yes, let's check. Then paste there like that. Yes, we are printing 0 to 14. How many times? 10 times. So we are done with that, guys. Let's git add like that, and then git commit. So our git commit, in this case, I will use what I've created. That is, it contains up to the commit message. This one. I'm using the title of the task to be the commit message. Copy. Then I have it here and paste. Then I click enter. Then git push to my repository. And then I'm done with that. Let me go to the next task. That is task number 6. Task number 6. Task number 6, guys. In this case, what are we doing? We are creating a file named vi6. Okay, let me just copy so that I will not have spelling errors. Copy. Then I paste it here. Click enter. I click I to go to insert mode, and then I will copy this code and then explain to you. I click on copy, then I come here, I click on paste, then I click escape like this, guys. Okay, no, before I escape, let me explain the code. Int I, for I is equal to 0, I is less than n. That is n is what will be given. This one, what's the question? Let me check the question. The question is saying that write a function, draw a line in terminal. So it will print line, that is a dash. How many times? We'll see. Will it print the number of times it will print a dash, the underscore, I'm sorry, is okay. Printing underscore, join underscore will make a line. So it will print underscore depending on the number of times given. So in this case, if it's given 0, so int is 0, I is less than n. In as long as I is less than n, n is what you are given, which is 0. Then, so is I less than n? No. Then increment to 1. So check again, is I less than n? Yes. I is 0, n is 1. So what if it's 1 now? Print 1 dash and then increment. So it will print a number of times. For example, it will print 2 dash to make a short line. It will come and print 10 based on it is given 10. So it print 10 dashes to make one line which is a bit long. And then this one. So this is what we're expecting it. This one, the 0, that's when you give 0 it will print nothing. This one, then this one. So now that is done, then you click enter. Click enter like that, and then we run Betty. So we tell Betty, please, Betty, where are you? Betty, and then I click copy. I come here, I click paste, then I click enter. So Betty is saying it is well. I have no problem with you guys. So Betty is saying she has no problem with us. So what about GCC? GCC is saying okay, even me, I have no problem with you. List files. So we want to see what is inside 6 lines. So dot like that, then 6 dash lines, then enter. You see it has printed some lines. Yes, that is the right answer. Git add like that, git commit, which let me not struggle to write git commit. Let me come here and just copy git commit message, copy, then I have it here. paste, then I click on enter and then git push. Yes, we are done with that. Let's come to task number 7. What task number 7 says that I write a function that draws diagonal lines in terminal. It's the same as the other one, but now it's printing using the slash. It is using this the backslash. So it will print using put car number of times the character. So it will depend number of times you give. For example, if you give 0 times, it will print nothing. It will be 2 times. It will print slash and then new line slash. So it will print diagonal. So let's try. Let's first of all, it will print like something like this. You give 2, it will print slash, then new line slash, but it will move away from the margin. So let's copy the name of the file. The name of the file is called 7print diagonal. So let's have it. That is 7print diagonal. That's the name of the file. Copy like that. Then I say vi like that, and then the name of the file like that, and I click I to go to insert mode. From there I will copy my code, guys, and then I explain to you. Hope you are getting something, hope you are understanding something here. Then I click on copy, have it here. So what it's saying is that in I and j, if n is less than 0, n is what you give, is less than 0, what it happens is that it prints a new line. If it is less than 0 or if it is 0, meaning that you have not asked to print any diagonal, it will print a new line. Nothing will print in it. Then now check if I is less than n, meaning that you have n is around maybe 2, because in this case I is 0. So if it's 2, you print a slash and then increment. That's what you do. That you print a slash, you have been given here. You print a slash and then new line. Then it's also check. It's also check for j is 0, j is less than 1, j plus plus. Increment to give the space. That is the number of space it will give. So you will notice that as the code will run, the more you give many times, the more it will go move away from the margin. So let's now escape like this, and then we run Betty. Betty, be a good friend. Betty, be a good friend. Like this, and then paste. Yes, Betty is saying that I have no problem. What about GCC? GCC, what will you say? GCC says that I have no problem. List file. Then we want to print for diagonal to see check the input, the output. I'm sorry, guys. You want to check the output. What will the output? Copy. Come here. Okay. Slash. Sorry for this. Yes, like that. Paste like that. You see, print diagonal lines. Then git add, and then git commit. I will commit to this message here. That is the task title like that. Then git push. Now clear my terminal. It's too much. Yes, next task number 8. Write a function that prints square followed by a new line. It's the same thing, but now this case is square. It will print the number of times will be equal to the number of new lines. So let me show you. First of all, let's print the name of the file. In this case, it's called 8print. So let's have it vi, and then the name of the file in this case is that one. And then I to go to insert mode. Let me copy the code and then I show you what it does. Okay, after that point, click on copy. Then I come here, I click on paste, escape like that. Now, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Yes, here. So I wanted to explain to you code. My code says that in j, in I. So I, first of all, it will check is the size. Size is what you give. What you give. If you give 2, it will print 2 times the square in 2 times. So first of all, you check if it is equal to 0, it will print nothing for you. It will just print for you a new line. Then you'll now check again for I is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, the I that you create, the variable that you create, then I has to be less than size, and then increment. What you do, Then what? Okay, assume this code up to here. What does the other one? This one will come and print a new line. It just print a new line. So it print how many lines? It will print depending on the number of size you give. So if you give 2, it will print two new lines. And then now the inside code is j is equal to 0, j is less than this one. Then it will increment that particular j like that. It will increment that particular j like that, and then it will print for you the number of hash depending on the number of size you give. If you give 2, it will print for you 2 hash, and then it goes to a new line and print another 2 hash. So it will be 2 hash in 2 new lines. So that it will be now the case. If you give 10, it will print for you 10 hash in 10 new lines. That will become a square. Then now, Betty, where are you? Betty, where are you? Copy here, then paste. Betty, what have I done? Oh, I just never added Betty. Betty, now paste. Betty is a good friend. Awesome. Come here. Guys, Betty is a good friend because I give Betty what she wants. You will enjoy what Betty wants if you understand what Betty wants. GCC says okay. List file. Then I come where 8 squares. So 8 dash squares like that. 8 squares. I'm sorry that I have to say dot slash 8 dash squares like that. I believe now that is okay. Click enter. Yes, you see, you give 2, it prints for you. You give 10, it prints for you 10 hash and then 10 times. Now you understand. Then git add, git commit. What's the message? The message for committing is this one. Let me copy. Then I come here and say paste like that, then git push. All right, so let's come to the next task. That is task number 9. We are about to be done. This number 9 is a bit awesome. It's asking for this boost test is interview question designed to help out 99 candidates who can't seem to program their way out of the white paper bag. Write a program that can print number from 0 to 100, from 1 to 100 followed by a new line. Print this is the number and the multiple of 5. So if the number is a multiple of 3, it will print this. In number of multiple of 5, it print bus. And if it's both multiple of 3 and 5, it will print this bus. So in this case, guys, you will just say use modulus. Say, let's say if, for example, you have a variable called a. You say if variable a modulus 3 is equals to 0, meaning that if it's divisible by 3, then print for us this. Then you come and say if a modulus 5, meaning that divisible by 5 is equal to 0. And as long as it's equal to 0, then that is print for us bus, meaning that it's a divisible of 5. Then for both, you will say if now 3 times 5 is 15. So we'll just say if a modulus of 15 is equal to 0, then you print now this bus, meaning that it's a multiple of the 2. Let's do the code and see what it does. So the name of the name of the file is called this bus. This bus like this. I came and say vi, then paste this bus like that. I to insert mode. I'll copy the code. I think I've tried to explain your code like this, guys. It will check. Copy. Come here. Paste. And then what does it do? I first of all the variable name. And then you check variable is equals to 1. Variable has to be less than 100. That's a number between 1 up to 100. In as long as it's not less than 100, continue printing. But only if it is modulus of 15, meaning that if it is a multiple of 3 and 5, that is 3 times 5 is 15. That is what this line means. And then print for us fin bus. Else, if it's a modulus of 3, only multiple of 3, print for us fin bis. Else, if it's a modulus of multiple of 5, print bus. else print that number. If it's not multiple of any, print that number alone. Escape like that, come like that, enter, then run Betty, 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 come here, best, enter. Betty saying I'm good. Betty saying I'm good. Okay, why give us Betty? Why give us the name of the file will be main? Okay, anyway, then we copy, and then I run GCC. GCC, what are you saying? GCC is saying it's fine. So let's see this one. 9, that is 9 is bus. What's the answer? VI, not VI, I'm sorry. It is this way. Then you paste that one. Enter. Yes, this bus. 1, 2, this bus. 1, 2, this. That's a 3. 4, bus. It's 5. This, 7, 8, this, bus. 11, this, 13, like that. All the way. Then git add. Git commit. Okay, commit. I'll just use what I have here. Commit with it. Then git push. Let's come to number 10. Number 10 is saying write a function that prints a triangle followed by a new line. This is so easy, guys. It's the same as what we had. I'm just writing, then I explain to you. It's just a simple explanation. It's only that they change from triangle, square, diagonal, lines. There's nothing different. It's just the same concept. It's only that it requires you to understand function. That is why they are revolving around the same thing, but they require you to understand that concept. So let's come this way. Then you'll notice that we have row, hashes, and spaces. So row meaning the number of rows that will print a new line. Then hashes, the number of time it will print for you hashes. And then the space. In as much as it will print a triangle, we need to print something that is, it will print a space from the first apex. Okay, there is a triangle, there is a point where it is at the tip, there's another point where it's at the base. So at the base, it means that the number of spaces it will increase is the number of space from the margin to the first hash is with what will determine how sharp will that triangle will be. So that is why you will at the top of the triangle there is more space from the margin. At the bottom of the triangle there is only less spaces from the margin. So that is why it says check for rows. That is number of rows. It will print how many rows. It will print number of rows based on what you give. So if you give 10, it will print 10 rows. First of all, that is what you give here, and then it check rows. Rows now, that is will print a space. Now the spaces, it check for the spaces. Spaces how many spaces, and then after printing that way, it will now come and say hashes. After you print a space, after printing 10 spaces, hash, and then come now decrement. It will print 9 spaces now. So you will find that you have now 2 hash. The first hash is only 1. The second row is 2 hashes. Third row is 3 hashes. Fourth row is 4 hashes or 5 hashes, and then the number of space between that hashes to the margin is less, like that. Then Betty, where are you? Enter. Betty saying it's fine. LS. So let's try triangle. Where is triangle? Our triangles is here. VI. Paste it here. Where have I done? Okay, let me resolve this. Okay, I had written wrong thing. Now let's get back to it. I was to check this one. I use vi instead of using slash. Copy now. Let me paste. Sorry for that, but now it's okay. Say, what does it say? Right triangle cannot execute binary. That one. What have I done? What have I done wrong? Okay, I think let me remove. I think I might have interfered with it when I get to when it get me to another place. Let me copy now and paste it here. Remove, paste, enter. So I've removed. Let me create again. Run GCC again, like that. Enter. So now it's okay. Now let me use this one and use the same thing as here. Then copy, paste it here, then enter. Now it's worked. Yes, that's okay. So guys, that's the end of mandatory task. Let's get git add first, then we get into the advanced task. Git commit. We are committing with what? We are committing with triangles. Triangles, like that. Then git push. Now let's get to advanced task. Advanced task is task number 11. Number 11, it says this one. So let's get, we are finding the prime numbers. VI 100 dash prime factor. Factor like that, dot C. To go to insert mode, then I'll copy the code and I explain to you. This is now a bit complex one. I know this is what I've been waiting for. Yes, this is a complex one, but nothing much. You just have to understand the code. So unsigned int long, and then you are given this number, what you have been given here. We have the number given here that you are supposed to calculate that prime numbers for, that is 1, 2, and 3 and all this. So the unsigned int, no guys, this is not the case. It is not this one. This is not for task 11. Just about a bit. Okay guys. Okay, it is this one. Let me check. Okay, this is the number I was looking for. I could not see this one. I was like, where is this thing? Okay, it's so fine. Let's continue. Okay, now that you have created this one, let's get into it. Let's get into this file, like this. I was explained. Yes, so I was saying that this one you have a biggest number like this. What been given here? We have been given this one, my number. Then we have another number I've used in the code. You're asking yourself, where is 782,849 coming from? So 782 and 849 is coming from the square root of that. That is the largest prime factor. That is the square root of that particular number, which is the largest. I can call it the largest prime factor. For example, making an example, if we are to find the prime numbers of 64, we will just begin and say anything to be less than 8, because 8 is the square root of 64. Because if we come to 16, 16 will say 16 times 4, which is, it will be 16 multiplied by a prime factor less than the square root of that particular number. So I will use now the square root of that number to calculate anything less than that, because any multiplication of a number larger than the square root, we have to use the prime factors less than that particular square root. And that is why in that case I'm saying that I'm using 782. So I had to calculate first of all this one to find the square root of this number, which is equal to this number. Then from there, now I is equals 3. Prime numbers is that is it? Yeah. So I is equals 3. Then that number. Then I is equals I plus 1. I is what I get. The first number that I have, that is here, that is 3 plus 2, which is 5. The next prime number is 5. The next prime number is 7. The next prime number is 11, 13, 17, that order. So, and then while this one, percentage of this one is equal to 0. In as long as n modulus I is equal to 0, meaning that it's a prime number. Now what you do, you You see, and another thing is that n should never be equal to I. Then what you do next is that, so, and then what next is return, and then return 0. So that is all about that code. I believe you have understood. So what next? We run Betty. Betty, where are you? Betty is here. Betty is saying I'm here. Copy. Then I paste it here. Then enter. Betty says that prime factor, no such file directory. Did I remove? No, I didn't remove. It says a different prime factor. This one not file. Cannot file 100 this one. What files do I have? ls. Do I have a file like that? And then why is it saying no? Saying no, why? Where is it? Prime. Okay, I gave the wrong name. I'm very sorry, guys. I gave the wrong name here. Let me copy again. Let me copy this one, and then I say mv rename. Rename that file. This one. This one. I'm renaming that file to what name? I'm renaming to 100. That's why I prefer copying the name 100 dash prime underscore factor dot c. Then I click on enter. So list file now. You see that now we have this. Where is 100 now again? Okay, here is 100. Now let's run Betty. Let's run Betty now. Betty, enter. Yes, Betty is now working. Now let's get to GCC. I say, guys, don't panic. Whenever you get it that is not working as expected, don't panic. Let's try. Copy. Come here. Paste. Enter. Yes, it's working. ls. ls, we have, what are we looking for? We are looking for 100 prime factor, this one. Then the output. Copy here, dot that, and then we paste that now here and see. Yes, we have the answer. We have the answer as expected. The last one, guys, we are here at the last one. The last one, write a function that print an integer, and then you're not allowed to use long, neither to use arrays and all those. Okay, let's see. What are you expected to see? You expect to have a number 98, 42, 10, 27, 10, 24, 0, and negative 98. Okay, let's get, what's the name of the file? vi. I will not write the name. I'll just copy because I don't want. Okay, I'm not committed or add to my GitHub. Let me just finish the last one, then I push all of them. I come here, copy. I don't have to spend much time. I've spent a lot of time here. Paste now. Insert. Then where's the code? Let me copy the code and I explain. Up to this far. Copy, come here, paste, like that, escape, WQ. That is okay. Let me, before I quit, int a number I is equals to n. If n is less than 0, then print put char. That what as it says, the question asks us to create, then ensure that it print a number integer n. Integer n. Then so whatever you are given here, you equate to an integer called int I that you are creating, that is of type unsigned. Then you say if n is less than 0, what do? You print put char 45, and then this one you give it that particular, you are giving that particular negative. So what it first is that it first declares the unsigned integer, that what I'm telling you, and initialize with the value, that is you having that it says that int I is equal to the value of n, which you will be given, which will the user will input. That is what is initialized it with that. And then the function, it then checks the value that is either, that is divided by 10, this one here, it checks for that particular value. And then what does it do next? So what it do next is that it add the ASCII value for 0. That is, after now it check this one, after it has divided that one, meaning that it is not a 0 number and it has more than 1 digit. And then after it has found that one, it will add a 0 value, the 0 value of the ASCII here. Yeah, I believe I explained to my level best. I'm sorry. So I've escaped. So what next? We run Betty. Betty, where are you? Is for the last time. It is the last time, Betty. Don't be offended. Betty, don't be offended. It's the last time. One last time. Betty saying, okay, it's last time. I'm okay with that. Betty, you have been a good friend. What about GCC? Copy. GCC. GCC be a good friend. Enter. Yes, GCC is a good friend. LS. The last one. 101. Where is 101? Here. Copy. We are expected to have something like this, 98, 402, and whatever. So, like this. And then I paste. Then enter. Yes, it prints the right output. Guys, let me now git add. And then git commit. Git commit, I will use what I have here. Here. Copy. And then git push. And now, guys, I believe you have been checking your checker if it is working. And now up to this far, we have done 200% of the task. Guys, I believe you will be able to follow up to the end of this video today. You have understood that we got 200. I believe also you too, you will get 200%, and not only 200%, 200% having understood the concept. Congratulations, guys, for being persistent to this level. I believe you will get even new 200%. Cheers, guys. See you next time. African Tech Gurus is a place for you to be. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit on notification bell so that you will receive notification once we post a new video. See you next time. Bye bye. Have a good day. Happy coding.